All right, welcome to Tuesday Newsday. Today we are joined by, excuse me, English is hard for me today, guys.
It's all good. It's a Tuesday. It's fine.
Yes. We're joined today with Cheryl Pson. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. We're happy here in Hamilton.
We are.
Because some of our snow is melting.
Yes, and that is so nice.
We had a little snowmageddon here, if you didn't know this. Most of you know this from last week, but what did we have, 14 inches up here in Hamilton?
Yeah, like a foot and a half almost.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then they had it piled up like you couldn't see past the snow mountain. So we're kind of glad it's starting to melt a little bit. So
yes.
I'm happy about that.
I am nervous because we have a very cold weekend coming up. Tomorrow it's supposed to get cold.
Yes, and I will tell you this was not a funny story, but if you've lived where it gets cold, I woke up Wednesday morning and I had no running water. My pipes had frozen. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? So I am trying to get ready for work. I get ready for work. I'm driving down the driveway, and we live in the country, and they don't plow, and it was icy, and I slid off the road into a ditch.
Oh, no.
So Wednesday was a little bit of a frazzled day, but when I got home, we did everything, had dinner, blah, 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 and I'm getting ready for bed, and my son comes running out, and he's like, what is that noise? And I'm like, I don't know. What is it? And he's like, we have water. And I'm like, I don't know where it came from and how it turned on, but I'm really grateful that it did, and we have water again. And yes, I'm letting it drip in my pipes. So I'm letting it drip in my faucet. So we shouldn't freeze again. So
that's good. I'll have to remember to do that too. I did not do that last time. Actually, with this snowstorm that we just had, I had heard, oh, we're going to have a big snowstorm. Be sure to go to the grocery store, blah, blah, blah. Be careful. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, whatever.
Whatever. It's a little snow.
And so I went and got 2 boxes of noodles, one jar of sauce, and some rice. Called it good. Didn't drip any of my faucets, and then got snowed in, and then had nothing to eat the whole weekend. And you're
how's that rice? It's really good. Put a little ketchup on it this time and call it good, right?
Well, usually when I make rice, if I don't get already pre-mixed rice or whatever, I'll just use chicken broth or veggie broth.
Too.
Yeah.
And you know what else is really good in rice?
What?
A little bit of butter. As you're cooking
yes.
it.
Oh, yes.
It just, I don't know.
No, I have to add
really
butter
good.
every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, I do too. So... but we are surviving. I do have to say, if you're going to come up to Hamilton next week or this coming week, bring a coat and a hat and a scarf.
Dress warmly.
Dress like a snowman, because it's going to be, if you aren't used to humid cold, it's cold.
Oh, yeah. Humid cold is such an interesting cold.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, me neither.
I grew up in Utah, so I'm used to dry desert cold and desert snow and
the stuff that doesn't freeze underneath.
Yes.
It's not.
We don't have ice storms in Utah.
Yeah.
You don't walk outside and you're like, we are encased, literally. My car has been encased in ice, and I'm like, no. I don't know how to get in it. No. I don't know what to do. So
man.
You go in and quilt. That's what you do.
Yes.
You go back
100%. Get some warm hot chocolate, coffee.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and go.
Speaking of quilting, this Friday we have a tutorial coming out called Southbound.
Yes.
And we have a very special guest host, Elliot of Alderwood Studio, will be joining us to demonstrate how to make her quilt pattern. And we are very excited to have her join us and teach her patterns. And you guys are going to love what she creates.
It is beautiful. I got a sneak peek.
Yeah.
And then I went over to her Instagram page, and now I'm fangirling. I'm kind of in love with her. So
she's amazing.
I can't wait I think that might be my next quilt. It's either going to be Southbound or it's going to be something from her. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited. I'm just I don't know. It's a little bit modern.
Okay.
I'm a little bit of a modern girl, and I'm a little bit of a vintage girl, and I feel like she has a really good mix of those two styles in her quilting world. So
you will have to show us your quilt when you make it.
I will.
Okay.
We'll have to it might be a year, you guys. We'll see.
That's okay. That's okay. So. Whenever you get it.
Yeah.
So I do have some questions for you.
All right.
So you are a new I'm losing my words. Like I said today, English is hard for me.
It's all good. It's all good.
You're a new person joining us for Tuesday Newsday.
Yes.
So we would love to learn about you.
All right.
How long have you worked here? What do you do?
So I have been here 5.5 years, which when I started, I really thought it would be a year. And I just have loved my team. I love who I work with. And the biggest thing is for me is I love our guests.
Yes.
It's fun. I started in our Penny's quilt shop, which is, if you have been in town, that's all our blenders and solids. I love the history of that shop. That was J.C. Penney's 500th store. So there's a lot of really cool history and cool original stuff in that building.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. So we shut down all the shops and went out to the warehouse, and I did shipping, which is hallelujah to our shippers, and please give them lots of love, because
Seriously.
that's a big job and your feet are never the same again.
No,
so,
it is grueling to work there. I worked there for maybe 3 or 6 months, and I mean, oh my gosh, every day I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I was a teenager. Yeah. I should have had all the energy.
And I was an old lady, and it was really tiring. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to survive this, but we did. We survived it.
Well, good. I'm glad.
And so I came back up to the shops when they reopened, and I worked in main shop, and then I became an assistant manager.
Okay, very nice.
So I did that for a while, and then we had a little bit of a health debacle in our family this past year.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of returning back to work, and I've come back as an assistant manager again, which I love, because I get to work with all of our employees. I get to work with, I get to hop into every shop.
Yeah,
and,
awesome.
And mingle with everybody. And so that's just a ton of fun. I love it. And I love that part of my job. So
yeah, that's really cool. Do you have a favorite shop that you help manage?
Oh, main shop is my favorite.
Okay.
And it was my favorite when I started.
Yes.
And I kept coveting it when I was in Penny's. I love Penny's, but I was like, oh, I just want to be in main shop. So, but the thing I love about main shop is that's where everybody lands.
Yeah.
90% of our guests land in main shop first.
Yep.
And so you get to talk to them. Where are you from? How long have you been here? Have you been here before? Let me tell you about Missouri Star. Let me tell you about the shops that we have. And they get really excited, and you get to just have that moment to greet them, to love on them, to welcome them, and to just let them go explore and see that excitement. They're excited when they get here.
Yes.
So I love that. That's probably one of my favorite things.
That's super fair. I was actually going to say, that's one of the biggest reasons why I keep being Chuck the Duck, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I am Chuck the Duck for Birthday Bash. And it is grueling every time I have to put that costume on, because it is completely styrofoam. There are no ventilation. It is just a sauna.
Hot and toasty,
it is a sauna, and it's so much fun.
The head is
huge.
This is not a tiny head.
No.
This is a large.
Yes, and I have a little strap that goes under my chin that starts to choke me out after a while.
So if you see Chuck pass out,
help me.
Let's pick Chuck back up. We don't want you to fall over.
But I love being Chuck so much, because I love getting to interact with all the customers, especially during Birthday Bash. Everybody's there. We're all walking around. In fact, last year I took a couple of pictures with some little kids, and that was really fun, because I think the youngest one was kind of scared of me.
And you're like, I will not eat you.
I was like, I'm so sorry.
Good. I'm a happy duck. I'm a happy duck.
And then there was one day we were filming something for social media. I had two of my other team members with me, and this little boy, he was maybe 10 or 11, and he came up to me and he's like, can you hit the gritty with me?
Oh, and you're like, okay.
I was like, dude, I got a big old body and short little T-Rex arms right now, but I will do my very best. And so I did. And so there is a video out there of me hitting the gritty in a Chuck the Duck costume.
I love that so much. I love that so much.
It was a good time.
Well, and I think that's the funnest thing. We have people come from all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
So you never know. From Australia, we've had people from, we get a lot of people down from Canada, but all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's been something that's been kind of fun and unexpected in my job. My family has lived all across the United States. So we've lived from Maine to California to everywhere in between.
Wow.
And I have had people show up that I know that have no idea I work here. And I'm like, how are you here?
Oh my gosh.
Where did you come from? This is so exciting. And here we meet in Hamilton, Missouri. So who would think? But it's super cool. So I love that.
It's so weird, because it's such a small world, but it's also so expansive and huge.
It is.
But it's also so small.
It is.
And you run into people.
And you do. And you're like, you quilt? That is so cool. Welcome. Let me show you around. So yeah, so it's good.
Do you quilt?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wait, yes.
I did.
We just talked about that.
No, I started as a kind of a cheater sewist for costumes for community theater.
Okay.
Right. So don't ask me to sew a costume for you because it might be glue gunned and sewn and it's,
So
whatever.
fair. So fair.
But my sister quilts and her daughter-in-law quilts, and they would have these gorgeous quilts. And I think, oh, they're so pretty. I want to be a quilter. And I think, you are way too much of a free spirit and you are not that grounded to be a quilter. And so I just sort of put it off. Like, I can't really do this,
Yeah.
So when I started here, so when we moved here almost 8 years ago, I had no idea what Missouri Star was. I didn't know about Hamilton. And we drove up through here and I was like, what are all these shops? They all, like, what are these? They look like they're fabric shops. So we stopped and we walked around and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty, pretty, pretty fabric. Come to me. And I thought, what am I going to do with it? And so I remember looking up Jenny and reading her story. And then I watched a video and I went, really? That's how you do that? I think I could do that.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than you would think.
It is. Well, she makes it like it's magical. So I love Disneyland. When I walk into the park, it's magic, right?
Yeah.
When I look at a quilt, I don't see the block. I don't immediately see the block. So when I watch the video, I'm like, oh, really? That's how that happened? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I can do that.
Yes.
Right? So my first quilt that I made was the Dapper Dan quilt. My husband used to
okay.
make bow ties, and he was famous for wearing bow ties all the time. Like, he loved them.
That's awesome.
And so the first one I did was the Dapper Dan quilt, and I did it to look like bow ties for him.
Very cute.
And gave it to him at Christmas and wrote this whole poem about a princess that loved her prince and wanted to give him the finest finery and all of this stuff. So it's very sappy and cute. And
yes.
But he loved it. He loved that quilt. And I have not stopped since. So
That's
I've been
awesome,
quilting
though.
for about 5 years. And
Oh,
I love
okay.
it.
Very
I just
nice.
turned in 3. I think I just turned in 3 quilts to get quilted here.
Very fun.
Yeah. So it's
Do you
good.
have a favorite line or like product?
You know what? I do have a couple of favorite lines. So I kind of bounce from modern to vintage. So I kind of love anything Lori Holt.
Okay.
Lori Holt I love.
Yes.
Tilda.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. I
So
want to do
good.
some farm girl vintage with Tilda and
Oh,
just
that would be
do some really
so
cute
pretty.
stuff, right? And then Ruby Star Society, which is up in our modern shop.
Okay.
I'm actually doing a quilt out of their stuff right now. So I just kind of bounce between those.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about that with products. So in the shops, we use the gypsy gripper all the time to cut the fabric, right?
My gosh, lifesaver.
Game changer.
Seriously.
Right? So,
yes.
So you're up, your hand is up, you're not chopping your finger off with your blade. There is no blood on your quilt. It's all good. So I love that product. And then Missouri Star has a 2.5 by 8 inch ruler, and I use it all the time. It is by far my go-to ruler for most things that I'm doing. And then we just came out, we have a pattern binder and a template binder, and game changer. My templates have been scattered in a drawer, and now they are all neatly organized in this beautiful pattern binder. So I love it.
I might have to get one of those because all of my patterns, I literally just like haphazardly threw in a little cubby and a drawer and a shelf and
and then you're like, okay, wait, where is it?
Where is it? Yes.
Where is it? And I do that with my templates and I do that with my patterns, but they're now all organized. And then I just bought, it was on sale. I think was it a daily deal? The project case.
Oh, yes.
I think it was a daily deal for $9.99. So I just got that, and I just helped my daughter finish her first quilt. And so we brought everything up in that, and she was so excited to just have it all organized and ready to go. So
that's amazing.
So
I love
those
that.
are a couple of mine.
Yeah. I will seriously have to probably look into that if I can find all my patterns.
Right. You need the pattern binder. It's
genuinely.
Really, it's good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for this Tuesday Newsday.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
And we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye, everyone.